Welcome to the MEDEX Spokane Class 24 White Coat Ceremony. This is a really exciting day for you guys and for all of us as faculty and staff here. So we're happy to have the class, faculty, and staff with us in person today. In person is a really big deal these days, right? All of you here know me, but this is being zoomed all over the place. So my name is Theo Orchard. I'm the site director for the MEDEX Spokane campus, as well as the clinical coordinator, meaning I oversee the clinical education. So what these students are about to embark on starting on Monday. So joining with us today, we have all of our Spokane faculty members, Patty Hahn, Carrie Rogers, Brendan Reardon, and Ryan Smith, all here with us today. This marks the end of the didactic year in your didactic education and transition week. And starting next Monday, each student here will be donning white coats and seeing patients in hospitals and clinics throughout our communities. Before we get started into the white coat piece, we want to take a moment and recognize a very special person with us today. I haven't experienced the crying in a mask thing yet, but I think we're getting there. Patty Hahn, she's concluding her time with MEDEX, so many of you know that tomorrow was Patty's last day. But what you may not know is that this is a journey that started about 25 years ago. Even prior to that, Patty became a nurse in 1979. Shortly thereafter, she became engaged in medical education, critical care, and emergency medicine. In 1996, she moved away from a role as a critical care light nurse and became a nurse practitioner. She immediately started guest lecturing and precepting for MEDEX students. I did that for the next 17 years until she joined MEDEX as a full-time faculty member in 2013. Since that time, she's taught nearly every MEDEX PA graduate cardiac physiology and EKG interpretation, which blows me away every time I listen to her do that, even yesterday. And along with a myriad of other topics that she teaches. Anybody who knows Patty is familiar with her calm demeanor, her compassion, attention to detail, and how intimidatingly smart she is. And yet how humble she is about it. She has a God-given talent to teach, and she's honed that over years of practice. Here in class 24, you're the last class to benefit from teaching instruction. I'm sure you each have plenty of stories of your own, but since I'm the one at the microphone, I'm going to tell you my own stories. So my very first experience with Patty, I came to interview to join the faculty at MEDEX, I did the interview, and we wrapped everything up, and I went to leave, and the other faculty, or the faculty members, they started talking and mingling, and I was leaving. Patty chased me down as I was walking up the stairs, and she just thanked me for coming to interview. Told me I did a good job, which was very reassuring at the time, and told me she was excited to work with me. That made a big impact, something very, very small. Yet one of the most recent experiences with Patty was yesterday. So we were in the classroom. She just finished doing an EKG review with you guys. And me and Michael Smith and Ryan Smith, we were sitting in the back of the room, and there was an extra chair at our table. And we kept kind of moving it around every time we had to move somewhere. Patty finished her lecture and came and sat down, and immediately she got up and went and moved the chair. She actually just solved the problem, right? Nothing any of us could have done, right? But ultimately, Patty's a great teacher because she teaches by example. Go out of your way to make someone feel special. Go out of your way to do something correctly. If you can, be like Patty. So we have series over here with some flowers. So we just want to recognize that. And it is about you guys, and they also wanted to recognize you guys. So, next step, we're going to delve into a little bit about the history of the white coat. And so this is adapted a little bit, so that's been floating around for a little while. There's an article from the AMA Journal of Ethics, and I've adapted it slightly to meet our purposes today. The white coat has served as the preeminent symbol of medical providers for over 100 years. Patients expected to be treated in doctors' offices, hospitals, and clinics by an individual wearing a white coat. At virtually every medical school and PA program, the first symbolic act is the white coat ceremony. Some programs do it at the very beginning of the program, some do it at the transition point into their clinical education, and some do the white coat ceremony at graduation. So it varies widely in terms of how these ceremonies are conducted. Regardless, the ceremony was started by Dr. Arnold P. Gold, and it's meant to be kind of a ceremonial cloaking of a medical provider to be as he or she embarks on a medical career. So you may be surprised to learn that prior to the late 19th century, doctors wore not white but black garb. The word candor is derived from the Latin candidus, which means white. In fact, the foundation of all professional societies is candor or truth. The term candidate comes from the fact that Romans seeking public office wore white togas. The depiction of justice over the millennia has been a statue or painting of an individual in white clothing. Physicians dressed themselves in black and were painted in black garb until the late 19th century. Black attire was considered formal, such as we look at tuxedos and things of that nature today. Consequently, until about 1900, physicians wore black for their patient interactions, since medical encounters were thought of as a serious and formal matter. Clergymen also dressed in black, which indicated the solemn nature of their role in encounters with parishioners. An additional or alternative possibility for the dark garb might be that until the late 19th century, seeking medical advice was usually a last resort and frequently a precursor to death. Until the last third of the 1800s, an encounter with a physician rarely benefited the patient. At that time, most of the benefit derived from medical treatment was a warm, dry place to stay, healthy meals, and someone to attend to your needs, rather than actual medical or surgical interventions. Thomas Eakins created a painting in 1875 entitled The Gross Clinic. And as you can see, they're all in black garb there. So it depicts a scene from Jefferson Medical College's amphitheater in Philadelphia, showing Dr. Samuel Gross and his assistants all dressed in black formal attire before performing a leg operation for osteomyelitis on a young man. At about the same time, the ideas of antisepsis was taking hold in Europe. It was Joseph Lister's contribution in applying Louis Pasteur's advances in microbiology that truly moved medicine from home remedies to the realm of bioscience. For that first time, reproducible results helped researchers better understand how to prevent bacterial contamination. Remarkably, this progression was documented in 1889, operating theater masterpiece entitled The Agnew Clinic. From the University of Pennsylvania, Dr. D. A. Agnew can be seen in a white smock, with assistants also wearing white, suggesting that a new sense of cleanliness pervaded the environment. The patient is swathed in white sheets, and the nurse has a white cap. Similarly, in 1889, photographs from the Massachusetts General Hospital archives show surgeons starting to wear short-sleeved white coats. The white garb of healthcare workers became somewhat standard at the end of the 19th and beginning of the 20th century, when medicine became the truly scientific enterprise we now know. Up until that time, nuns and their black habits functioned as nurses. At the turn of the 19th century, the black habits of the nuns and the religious nursing orders became white. In fact, to this day, nurses in England are called sisters because of their religious origins. In the 20th century, the white coat continued to be the symbol of medical authority and respect as medical advances firmly established the patient-doctor relationship as a beneficial encounter. Probably the greatest development of medical science in the 20th century was the advent of antibiotics towards the end of World War II. The completion of Lord Lister's dream that bacteria could be successfully overcome. For the first time, pneumonia, appendicitis, and an infected wound or a toothache no longer condemned one to death. A depiction of a physician in a white coat has indeed become the symbol of medicine, eclipsing the black bag or the stethoscope. The white coat is not without controversy, as many of you have heard of white coat hypertension, and there's many professions within the medical field that choose not to wear the white coat. Frequently, we see this in psychiatric settings or pediatric clinics, right? But there are others who even just choose to have a more casual relationship in the patient-provider relationship. In 1967, Dr. Eugene Stead graduated his first class of 3 physician assistants from Duke University. As you can see in the class photo, each of them is wearing a white coat. This was the birth of the PA profession, and 2 years later, our very program, MEDEX Northwest, graduated their first class of PAs under the direction of Dr. Richard Smith. Another very important day in history is when Spokane Class 24 ended up with their white coats and was able to actually meet together in person. So many patients now view the white coat as a cloak of compassion and as a symbol of the caring and hope they expected to receive from their medical providers. Just as importantly, the white coat symbolizes the other critical part of a student's medical education, a standard of professionalism, cleanliness, caring, and an emblem of the trust they must earn from their patient. Each of you today will be coated by your academic advisor. You will notice their white coat is a little bit longer than yours. Students have adopted the short white coats as a way to identify themselves as medical learners and differentiate from preceptors who are fully licensed to practice medicine. This is helpful for medical workers and patients alike to understand the roles and responsibilities of those they interact with. Please live up to the standard set by the symbol. Symbols can mean many things. The symbol of the white coat will be a positive thing in your medical education and clinical practice if you make it so. Allow the ideal of evidence-based practice to guide your medical decision making. I urge you to be compassionate in your patient care, always reminding yourself that incompetent or suboptimal care is never compassionate. Your understanding of medical science should transcend personal, societal, and political pressures of the day as you hold yourself to the higher calling and provide the best possible evidence-based treatment to your patients. So I want to welcome all of you to clinical medicine. Starting Monday, you will all be seeing real life patients, not on the other side of a screen, but you will be donning these white coats, you will be taking care of patients. And these patients are entrusting you with some of the most vulnerable aspects of their life. They don't come see you on their best days. They come when they're the most vulnerable. And please respect that. So now we are going to go ahead and code each of you. So I'll ask the faculty to come up here, and each of you will be coded by your academic advisor. So each of you you'll carry your code up and hand it to your advisor when I read your name, and then they will coach you, and then you can come back and sit next. Want them over here? Perfect.
Again, we'll show you better if you're on the right side of the field. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and start with the names. So Ahmed Abdel Shafi. Megan Austin. John Bauer. Dr. Bronson. Austin Cardoza. Peter Cunningham. Dominique DeFelice. Chris Fulmer. Spencer Hale. Laura Hadashak. Chris Jenkins. Jennifer Dorwin. Got the thumbs up. Okay. Brendan Laffman. Dariana Lurch. Tim Mankey. Jonathan McCord. Timothy Malott. Mark Nyberg. Brendan O'Neill. Ravina Tata. Trevor Peterson. Ethan Price. Sebastian Samuel. Barrett Schneider. Ashley Scott. this in. Julie Skews. Reagan Snow. Okay, so this is Spokane class 24. We're now going to, so many of you may know or may not know, typically, or historically, there's been a physician, a graduating physician would take the Hippocratic Oath. There is a version that has been adapted by AAPA, which we'll go through at this time. So this is your opportunity to take the PA version of this oath as you go out to care for patients. And so we will read through this together. So if you all stand and just go ahead and read it along with me. I pledge to perform the following duties with honesty and dedication. I will hold as my primary responsibility the health, safety, welfare, and dignity of all human beings. I will uphold the tenets of patient autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. I will recognize and promote the value of diversity. I will treat equally all persons who seek my care. I will hold in confidence the information shared in the course of practicing medicine. I will assess my personal capabilities and limitations, striving always to improve my medical practice. I will actively seek to expand my knowledge and skills, keeping abreast of advances in medicine. I will work with other members of the healthcare team to provide compassionate and effective care for patients. I will use my knowledge and experience to contribute to an improvement. I will respect my professional relationship with the physician. I will share and expand knowledge within the profession. These duties are pledged with sincerity on my honor. Okay, give yourself a round of applause. And that concludes our ceremony today. We're excited that you guys are all on to the next phase of your education. And we should be back here in this arena, hopefully, this time next year for an in-person graduation. So I'm hoping to see all of you here then. So another round of applause for you guys. Congratulations.